Welcome, everybody, to Week 5 Fantasy Football and DFS Outlook. Week 5. We're literally almost like 1/4 of the way through the NFL season. I mean, give or take.
That sucks.
3 weeks, like literally 3 weeks after it. Week 18 is basically how 4 weeks. So 5 or 6 games is the quarter mark. It's like I feel like it's flown through it at this point. Yeah, it's
moving right through a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a wild 4 weeks. Actually, I guess 4.5 if you give or take, counting already that we're into week 5 and it's already going. Wildest thing that you've seen so far? What do you think? It's the craziest thing that you think?
Minnesota Vikings. Just the start they've gotten out to. Just wasn't expecting that with Sam Darnold. But again, it's all sometimes about the system that you're in and sort of the coaching that you have. I think he recently came out and said that a lot of rookie quarterbacks are actually failed by the organization before the quarterback really fails them. So it just is a matter of having the right organization, the right scheme sometimes to be successful.
I thought Jay Gruden made a good point about that kind of thing, right? Like they was talking about Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins, and he's like throw some shade kind of like on the Washington organization for letting Kirk Cousins get away. Like, oh, at least we got like a conditional third pick or whatever he said, whatever the pick they got for Kirk Cousins, like a conditional pick in exchange for him. But when they could have like signed him after they franchise tagged him, like 3 years in a row or 2 years in a row, whatever it was, and didn't get any money for him. So I think that's the Vikings have probably been the story so far. And other than that, mine is the injuries that we've seen to stars already. And then I guess the disorganization of teams that with superstars on them that like already guys are on the trade block, like Devontae Adams. And I heard Deontay Johnson might be on the block. So he's on, it's crazy.
The only one that's throwing the ball to, if they trade him, they're going to have nobody?
Yeah. I mean, Leggett's essentially got to be the number one at that point. Like literally got to just throwing a rookie in the fire as the number one and just blowing up all the pieces and saying, okay, well, we brought you in, Deontay Johnson, but it ain't working out. We can get more for you and just kind of pack it in and get ready for next year when we decide that we're going to draft Quinn Ewers or whatever quarterback we decide to draft, because this ain't working. But I thought Phil's Saints were going to be the bell of the ball, and then they've kind of crapped the bed over the last couple.
So. We lost the last two in the last 1 minute of both games.
What's up, Jack? We'll hit your question at the end after we get through all the games we're going to talk about.
You gotta give us a lot more than that too. You gotta tell us.
Yeah, if you can give us your lineup, that'll
Yeah,
help a lot too.
PPR or not, and all your players.
Yeah, that'll give you some time to think about that. Y'all see Romeo Dobbs got suspended, conduct detrimental to the team. So that was weird. I thought.
Did not do that.
Did not
Anthony
catch
Rich.
that. Yeah.
I think it just came out like recently. Like, Phil, your boy Brandon Cooks is going to go on IR. Just
Damn.
and then OBJ is back, but who's going to throw him the ball? Nobody. So just a couple weird things that have happened recently, and then Anthony Richardson. I feel like the experiment is coming to a close in my eyes. I literally just, even if he was going to play this week, I picked up Justin Fields off the waiver wire and said, "Yep, my Anthony Richardson experiment is done. I'm done with him. Even when he comes back, he's going to be my bench until Justin Fields gets benched, if he does, for Russell Wilson, and then I will figure that out. That team is at work league, Yahoo league, half PPR, and I'm 1-3 in there. I got to make some changes, and Anthony Richardson is the first domino to fall. So, yeah, got to get out of there. But I guess we can hop into the first game. I know Phil is going to love this one. He gets to talk about Trevor Lawrence. Because he ain't gonna play him. He ain't gonna play.
Talk about him because I ain't playing him. Definitely not. I can talk about the indie side.
But
like that.
It's the Jaguars are 24. Like, their team total is 24.5. That's Brad. Is this because is it because it's at home?
Well, I guess you're probably going to go through it, but I think what Vegas is seeing is the injuries. The injuries loaded up on the Colts side are pretty serious, pretty significant. Not outside of just the quarterback. I believe you also have a cornerback potentially that might be out as well, Cody.
Yeah. So injuries are Ryan Kelly, their center. He's really good. Questionable with a neck injury. Kenny Moore, there's your corner that you're talking about. Their number one corner out with a hip. Kwity Paye, their defensive end, out with a quad. Obviously, Anthony Richardson is doubtful with the oblique injury. Braden Smith, one of their tackles, is questionable, and JT, of course, is out. So as you guys can see, I got Trey Sermon on here on the board. So, and then for your Jags, I think you guys are going to get Josh Hines Allen back, right? Like he's past protocol, right?
I saw he passed protocol, but I hadn't seen anything specific about if he's going to play, though. It's still sort of a questionable tag as far as if he's going to play.
Okay. And then Yasir
still
Abdullah.
Without some players on defense, Alua Khan, Tyson Campbell. I think we're getting back Darnell Savage. Is he gonna?
He was limited in practice on Friday, questionable, but I think you're getting him back. I think you're getting him and maybe Devin Lloyd both.
So this is why I do like Brian Thomas Jr. a lot tomorrow. He's also up there on the screen there. I do like that guy tomorrow. I just think the matchup sets up really friendly for him. He's had I believe 7-8 targets in his last couple games. He's found the end zone with Trevor Lawrence. I think this might be a get right game for the Jaguars. I think Vegas is seeing that as well with the points total. They might give up a few again due to the defensive side, but I guess if even from a kill athletic stardom side, I would start Brian Thomas Jr. in either fantasy league wide, but also even from a daily fantasy perspective. I just think that the matchup is friendly for him to really get.
I think he pops. I think if I'm touching Jaguars plays Mars, it's got to be him, because I think he pops. I don't think you have to pair him with Trevor Lawrence by any stretch of the imagination. And you guys are going to be without Evan Ingram again. So who else is Trevor going to throw the ball to? I actually have to start Christian Kirk because of all the buys and injuries that I've got this week in my in our 14 man. But and I don't want to do that, but I wish I had Brian Thomas instead of Kirk, because I think this is going to be the coming out party, and I feel like you guys are throwing it back to 1995 with the throwback jerseys. I feel like the jersey game this weekend is going to be on point, like for some teams, because that's my favorite jersey you guys have ever worn. So those are going to be pretty dope.
They're
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Inducting Tom Coughlin into the sort of Jaguar Hall of Fame tomorrow as well. So just big shout out to Tom Coughlin and everything he was able to put together in his career, not just for the Jaguars, but also for the Giants. But just happy that he's finally getting this recognition. I feel like it's a little bit overdue, but finally getting in the pride of the Jags there.
Yeah, and in what I saw, Mark Brunell was a quarterback coach on the sideline of San Francisco, maybe. Was it San Francisco? I don't remember who it was.
Detroit?
Detroit. Yeah, it's Detroit. Yeah. It was Detroit the other night. Yeah, after Jared Goff caught that touchdown pass, I saw him run over there, and Mark Brunell was talking to him. That's right. That coaching staff is insane. By the way, that the Detroit one. So
it is.
Hey, Search, we'll hang out with us, and we will answer your question at the end. But if you can give us a little bit more information about kind of like what the rest of your lineup looks like, that will help too. We appreciate it. So, Phil, what you got here
for this game?
First off, do you think it gets to 46?
I mean, y'all don't talk to me. Y'all got me fucking looking at Jaguars players, man, with all these injuries that I didn't know about, and that stresses me out because I was never playing them again. I did like the Indy side of this game. I like Pittman.
With Joe Flacco.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's some rookie backup. He's a veteran backup.
No. I'm saying it's great. It's like hopefully we see Michael Pittman as Amari Cooper last year, because we saw that same kind of thing with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I think if Flacco wants his job back or the starting role back, he's going to find the people that can make the plays. That's going to be Pittman. So, I mean, I like that. And then you got me intrigued about Brian Thomas. So, one thing about Brian Thomas is he's not significantly high owned, which is probably because Trevor Lawrence has been a dud and can't get any of the receivers to hit fantasy value for purposes of winning a GPP contest. So I might play a little bit of Brian Thomas because Brad done got me in here looking at him. But if I do, I'm not playing Trevor Lawrence. And
I don't think you have to. I really don't think you have to.
I'll probably do like a mini game stack, even without Flacco. Just if I'm going to play Pittman, I'm going to play Thomas. Because I feel like if one's eating, then the other one's going to eat too. There's going to be a reason for them to eat because the other team is scoring. And I don't think, I mean, I like Trey Sermon a little bit just because he's going to be cheap, but he's also going to be a little high owned. But I don't think he can do what JT can do. So I think they're going to have to throw it more.
I mean, Trey Sermon's like 12% owned, so he's
not super chalk, but he might be by tomorrow, man.
It could go up. I mean, but like
a little
Josh Downs for
the
Oh, go ahead.
A little get different play, I would say tomorrow it might be even Tank Bigsby. If you do have a couple players, there are a bunch of players out on bye, just given this week. So you might be kind of scrambling for players. He might be a little get different play. He's able to catch the ball out of the backfield. Last week, I believe he had a 50-yard run. He's been able to break a few in his second season, kind of coming back off of a kind of a shaky rookie season. But he's really finding the gaps, finding the creases this year. And so I just watch out for him tomorrow again with this kind of matchup. It just seems like a matchup that sets up where he might find the end zone tomorrow.
I had him in my waiver wire pickups this week for sure. So that I just for the simple fact of the matter is kind of what he did to us. And it just feels like I feel sometimes that ETN is just not. He's not effective sometimes, and it's like this year's been the year that he's not been really effective.
And don't
I'm
forget
wondering
about
if there's an injury concern with ETN, because it just seems like I think he might have been on a couple injury reports already this season. Not necessarily something super serious, but I'm just wondering if that's why they're kind of splitting the carries the way they are and giving Bigsby a little bit more carry work.
I mean, he has 7 attempts for 90 yards last week, so
he looked like a tank last week. So
yeah, and he's not high owned at all. If I'm
nah.
being honest, like not even 0.5%. So that'll probably move a little bit tomorrow, but not a ton. I don't feel like.
And like I was saying, Josh Downs is another good play from the Indy side, especially if you're going to run an Indy lineup. If you're going to run Flacco, pair him with 2. Pittman and Downs, bring it back with Brian Thomas Jr. Fill in the blank.
Downs is another one, a guy I added in my waiver wire pickups this week too. So they were actually him and Tank Bigsby were both wide receiver or running back number 2 and wide receiver number 2 in the list. So, and then of course Joe Flacco was on there too. You have to, like, literally, that was just one of those guys. If you're hurting and you had Anthony Richardson and you couldn't get somebody better, Joe Flacco is one of those guys that can just come in and just, he's either going to do really well or really bad. And there's just no in between. Like, he's just not an in between guy. It's just really, really good games or really bad games. And I feel like this one's going to be no defense played whatsoever. Like, I just don't feel like there's going to be defense played in this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. I think that 46 is hit easy.
Yeah, I agree. I like the over in this game.
Because there's so many duds tomorrow. Like, I feel like there's so many dud games tomorrow, even though there's 5 over 46 and the line is kind of shifted a little bit. Actually, the lines that I'm looking at kind of shifted a little bit since maybe last night, but maybe a half point. No, actually they're all still the same, but that Dolphins and Patriots game is going to be a snooze fest. The Raiders and Denver is going to be you can sleep through that one in the afternoon. And then Panthers and Bears, I feel like both of those are like, it's just, I feel like there's a lot of sleep-worthy games. I don't know, maybe. So it's 3 points to the Jags. What do you guys think?
Indy.
Oh, Duval. This got to be the one. Come on, please. All those that positive energy. We got the throwback jerseys coming back. We're gonna have a bunch of the old stars, most likely, of the Jaguars.
Yep, put fucking Tony Baselli's ass out there. Go get Tony Baselli.
There's no way they don't put up a performance for Duval tomorrow. I think this is the one they get right.
This could be the week where we say we always say we never gonna play Trevor Lawrence again. And I'm not advocating for anybody to go out there and start Trevor Lawrence. But if it's gonna be a week, it's gonna be tomorrow. It's gonna be tomorrow. Right. Trevor Lawrence comes out here and he's in the fucking millie. He's literally in the millie.
I'm willing to sleep on the fact of missing this dude.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna play him either, but it's probably gonna be tomorrow if it happens.
I hope he twists his ankle. It's not severe, but it benches him so that way they find new talent for Jacksonville. Because I don't wish any like real injury on nobody. So just enough to get them off the field, and then they see like, oh shit, this guy's so much better. That's it. That's all we need.
I don't know, man. It's just like
Then I might be asking Brad, like, let's go watch him play. We're here. Let's go watch him play. So I can't go watch Trevor Lawrence play, man. Not unless the Saints are there. The Saints aren't going to be there this year.
I need that. We need to rent we need to go Ballers and Briefs pool party at
That would be
The last
everybody.
time I was there, I was in the pool party. I was on TV like 5 times.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, and you was there. It wasn't even a Saints game, and you're at a freaking Jags game with the Saints
The
cap
Saints
on TV.
with the Saints cap
You
on.
and Jay. I remember that.
They were in there. That Jay won us tickets to that off of FanDuel, I think.
That was
He
funny.
won some tournament, bought us it gave us free tickets to the pool area in the Jags game. All you could eat, all you could drink for free.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice.
I remember that 100%. I remember.
I was on TV a lot. They had people texting me like, "Yo, you're on TV."
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah, I guess we can hop to the next one. Next one, good old fashioned AFC North battle. This fucking mutant right here, Derrick Henry. This man is disgustingly huge. Like, you know, I was looking at pictures of him last night trying to find a good spot for the thumbnail here. And looking at him, all the good Ravens pictures, like trying to find one with him kind of by himself so I could pull it and put it here. How hard it is to find him not just stiff arming the shit out of people is ridiculous. Like, literally, he needs to be the universal face of the stiff arm because, like, it's just what he does. Like, he's just so much bigger than everybody else. He's just so damn big.
It's not normal for a running back either.
Well, they were talking about how the other night, like, he runs so straight up, right? Like, he's just a runner. Like, he doesn't run down like a lot of running backs. He runs so
up, then.
He's so straight up. And like, I was like, and they said that he reminds them of Eric Dickerson. And I went back and watched Eric Dickerson run, and that dude, he used to run straight up too. And I just thought about it, and they said that when Eric Dickerson met Derrick Henry the first time, that he was like, yeah, that dude's super big. He's too big. And
he's gonna take his knees out one day. He's gonna be done. Can't be running like that, man. He literally runs straight up.
And but the thing is, it's like he runs like a locomotive train. Like, he just like high, heavy base up top. And no, I just feel like nobody wants to tackle him. Like,
no, I'm not.
Don't. I mean, he's just so big, and like, he's coming at you full force, and you really don't know what to do with that. Like, I wouldn't know what to do with it. The only thing I'm thinking of is like, I'm getting stiff armed to the ground because I gotta go at his legs because I can't take him straight up.
He stiff arms big ass dudes to the ground.
He's
dude.
I feel like he's taller than 6'2", but he's only 6'2". He's 250. So I just feel like he's way taller than that. I mean, that's Gerald's size, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Gerald used to tell me, like, motherfuckers didn't want to get in front of Marshawn Lynch. He was like, it's like, it's real. I was like, man, you don't think some of the things are staged? He's like, nah, it hurts. He was like, when he runs into you, it hurts. And Gerald was big as shit. He looked like LeBron. So
yeah,
you got him saying that, like, yeah, I can understand Derrick Henry, like, full speed running up the middle.
We know Brandon Bolden, and Brandon Bolden is not much bigger than I am in person. Like, literally in real life, he's about my height and not much bigger than I am. And Derrick Henry would dwarfs him, you know? So it's crazy. But a little bit of injuries from this game. Backup running back Rasheen Ali. Don't even know who that is. It's questionable for the Ravens. That's a guy. Deontay Hardy, their kick returner, is questionable with a knee injury, but he was full go at practice. Arthur Mollett, I think their number 2 corner, is out with a knee injury. And then Andrew Voorhees, their guard, is questionable with an ankle, but was a full go in practice on Friday. And then for the Bengals, Mike Hilton, one of their corners, didn't practice on Friday, and he's questionable. McKinley Jackson, defensive tackle, was a full go, questionable with a knee. Miles Murphy, the other defensive end, full go with a knee injury, but questionable. And Sheldon Rankins, their main defensive tackle, didn't practice and is doubtful. So fire up the beacon for the big man here on the screen.
Yeah.
No defensive tackle.
The problem is Baltimore.
You got to watch out for the Justice Hill show, though.
Yeah.
And I also wonder with this matchup. I don't know if this gets to the 49-point total. Where I felt a little bit better about the previous matchup. I'm not sure. I'm starting to feel more of a run game, more of an old school sort of Baltimore Ravens Bengals game. A lot of defense. The point totals may not get as high. This is 49-point total. I see Lamar Jackson running it a little bit too tomorrow. I just wonder if unless Henry is able to break one, will his totals end up coming in enough to be sort of fantasy terrific?
I agree. I mean, the last two times they played, it was 54 points or 51 points, but the time before that was 41. I'm not as keen on this game going over for some reason. I think it's going to be more defensive. And I think Derrick Henry's pulling a lot of chalk. And like you said, it's a backfield that they like to share. And then like Lamar is also going to get his carries. So it's too hard to like keen in on Henry.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. This is just me because I'm going back to Tennessee stats last year. Okay. This is the same exact defense, by the way, with the Bengals, same scheme, same everything. Okay. Last year when Tennessee was dog shit. Okay. Played Cincinnati. Derrick Henry had 22 attempts for 121 yards and a touchdown. Okay.
Yeah, but he's sharing a backfield now. He was
sharing with Spears last year.
Nah, man. Not like Baltimore, literally backfield like 50-50. And Lamar. So it's really less than 50-50. Spears would come on the field maybe 10% of the run.
I mean, against Buffalo, Henry had 24 attempts for 199 yards. Against Dallas, he had 25 attempts for 151 yards. Against Las Vegas, he had 18 attempts for 84 yards.
Hill was right there with him and getting the passing game. So if Cincinnati stops the run to an extent where he's not gashing them like he did Buffalo, they're going to share it with Hill and Lamar, and he's not going to get his value. It's not that he's not, like, if you're playing season long, you're starting him no matter what. But
I mean, Justice Hill only had a maximum of 5 attempts.
The defense possession is 18th. It's not, Buffalo's is 27. So they're like middle of the pack, not bottom of the pack like Buffalo was neither. So got to keep that in mind. I agree with the devil's advocate, though. It's Derrick Henry. I feel like he could have a breakout game. It doesn't matter who he's playing against. But for purposes of him being chalk and knowing that he splits the backfield with his quarterback and another running back, I'd rather just go under exposure or fade him and hope he doesn't get value.
See something.
This is like a game that a lot of people are going to, and because it's a division rivalry and who it is, but like I don't like it on paper, that's for sure. For example, Baltimore is number 4 against the pass. So like I just feel it being like a slow game.
I've had a lot of questions about Chase Brown this week.
4 against the run.
I mean, I have to run him, but
4 against the pass and the run. Sheesh.
Well, I definitely think Chase Brown's going to get touches. It's just a matter of sort of he would need to, again, it's a matter of, do you think that he's going to be able to break one? That's where I don't know. I see him
because he
having
had,
probably 14. You have to run the ball against Baltimore to be able to be successful. You have to be able to be balanced in what you do.
but you're talking about a split backfield. Zach Moss and
Yeah,
Chase
and that's
Brown,
the
like
other
you don't
part.
damn know who's going to get the ball there.
You don't. You don't.
None.
No.
I mean,
Of course, you
Chase
got to
Brown
go with your
was
man
great.
Chase,
One of them.
Jamar Chase over there. Of course, you're gonna have to go with your chalk for these season long games. You have to go with them from a season long, and also, I mean, even I I could see them force feeding Chase the ball tomorrow, which could potentially result in something. But how much is he going, even from a daily fantasy perspective? How much is he cost? Because I mean, I think it might be advantageous to look at him.
He's 8,000,
Uh,
but
Who's
he's
eight?
not.
Chase.
Jamar Chase, he's 8,000.
Oh, Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
Oh, we're
yeah.
talking about Chase Brown.
No. Jamar Chase
Yeah,
is who he's talking about.
Sorry.
Yeah, Jamar Chase. Like I said, against the number 4 pass, I'm not going there. A lot of people are looking at this because of the high
It
over
seems
under.
like
But
it.
yeah, this is one of the ones where I'm like, nah. Hope it just plays under and slower, and obviously some people are going to score in this game.
Okay, so
17,
career
21.
Jamar Chase. I mean, he's okay. Career 37 catches for 505 yards and 3 touchdowns in 6 games. So he doesn't get in the end zone. He gets in the end zone by every other game. And the last game that they played, he had 2 receptions on 7 targets for 12 yards. And the time before that, he had 5 receptions on 8 targets for 31 yards.
That's horrible.
So he hasn't had double digit targets in 2023, like in the playoffs, basically 2 years ago. And then, but he hasn't ever really had a great game against the Ravens. I wonder what T. Higgins has done. T. Higgins was the star the last time they played. 8 receptions on 12 targets for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. Because he has 32 catches for 414 yards and 4 touchdowns in 7 games. So he's been relevant more against Baltimore than Jamar Chase. Because of course they're going to go. He's going to draw Marlon Humphrey. Jamar Chase is. Now, I even went back to see what Tyler Boyd, even though Tyler Boyd's not there, but to see what the number 3 has done against Baltimore with Cincinnati. And I believe I believe the last 2 games you really can't count because there was no Joe Burrow. I believe it was both games, the last 2 of the last season. You can't really count that because they had Jake Browning. But before that, it's just been it's middling targets. So I think this might be the day, this game, like Phil just said, hope that you just play that they don't do anything and just kind of fade them, especially Jamar Chase being 8,000. You could get somebody else somewhere else cheaper that's going to do better than that and save money and cost.
Or fantasy DFS.
Yeah. And at 14% ownership, I mean, it's not, I don't know. I just feel like that this could be, Baltimore could be also getting after the quarterback more than what we think, So I don't know. I don't know if it gets 40, 49. Actually, The line did just change. Like, line changed. They've changed since we've been sitting here. So the last game, they all dropped a half. So like now, so the Jags and Colts game instead of 46 is 45.5. So Vegas is listening to us, actively listening to us right now, saying that we think the line is going to move. And it just did. And this one's now 48.5. So there we go.
They're starting to see it the same way we're seeing it.
Yeah, they listen to
Who
it.
you guys
Vegas,
got to-
you know you're
who you guys
listening.
got in
Vegas
this
is
one?
listening to it.
Who you
Oh,
guys
I
got
got
tomorrow?
Baltimore. I think Baltimore just is turning the gas on. Like, this is I think that I think they're gonna put the proverbial sleeper hold on the Bengals. Like, even in Cincinnati, I don't, and they're not even favored. They're 2.5 point underdogs. You know, Cincinnati is. So, what about you?
Give me Baltimore as well here. I like that. I like Phil's really convinced me with that fourth place passing defense. I think that's going to be enough tomorrow to get Baltimore.
Are you going to run? Okay, so this is to you because you have Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Are you going to run Joe Burrow out, or did you pick someone else up? Because I know you have Herbert too, right?
I think I have Herbert, but I got to double check. It's going to be a game time decision. Definitely after this conversation we've had, I'm going to have to sleep on it tonight and see how I
Chargers
feel.
on
That's going
bye,
to be
right? Chargers
that's
are
going to
on
be
bye.
that one that you thinking
Chargers
about
on
at
bye.
like 12. You kind of leaning this way, that way. That's going to be me with my quarterback decision because I'm torn either way, really, honestly.
Because
Neither
Chargers are on
has
bye.
really kind of had a breakout game. Oh yeah, that's right. Herbert is on by. Neither has had a really breakout game for me. I know Herbert had like a 300-yard performance before. I might just have to run him out just because he's my best option. Maybe check that waiver wire, but it's a desert out there in that 14 league.
We got Bo Nix and Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew.
Fellas,
That's all that's out there.
This has been a experience, to say the least. It's an experience.
I'd trade you Sam Darnold right now if it would get there quick enough, but it won't.
14-man leagues. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we all got that one. So
next morning.
So the uniform game is about to be on point tomorrow. We are debuting the H-Town blue uniforms tomorrow. Oh, they'll be so dope. So
I don't know what that is.
The Oiler blue, you saying?
The Oiler blue. So they're still the dark steel blue, okay? But they have all the Oiler blue in them, and the numbers are Oiler blue, and so kind of like the logo here.
Okay.
And then we don't have the bull on the helmet anymore. It's an H with that's the H-Town blue, and it's going to be the end zone's going to be painted in. The shoes are that cup, man. It's so dope. I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited about that. Like, screw the Titans.
Get behind.
Huh?
This is a game to get behind for DFS.
I can't believe that we're favored by 1, though. I guess they're giving us the home field advantage for sure, and kind of coming off of what
defense, dude. I think y'all are like number 2. Crazy.
It's okay. I don't
feel like it to me, but I guess y'all are number 2.
Nobody likes the either one of these quarterbacks tomorrow. They're I'm saying
that's why I like them.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they're 5% owned. Josh Allen's 5.5, and CJ Stroud's.
They're 5%, so you gotta lock them in. Yeah, they're worth taking a shot on at that point.
So injury. Bills, Terrell Bernard. Shout out to LaPorte High School here down the street. Terrell Bernard, questionable with a pec injury, but he's limited in practice. Austin Johnson, the defensive tackle, out with oblique. Teron Johnson, questionable with a forearm injury, limited in practice. Ed Oliver, shout out to Cypress High School down the street. Defensive tackle out tomorrow. Taylor Rapp, safety out with a concussion. This is where this is that 1 point. This is their 1 point right here. And then Khalil Shakir out tomorrow with an ankle injury.
Yeah, Coleman, but yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
Dalton
that's it.
Kincaid, Curtis Samuel might
Cool.
even get a. And then for us, Derek Barnett, defensive end, out with a shoulder injury. Jake Hansen, one of our backup linebackers, out questionable with a back, did not practice on Friday. Kurt Heinisch, backup defensive tackle, questionable with a calf. Dylan Horton, backup defensive end, questionable with an illness. Titus Howard, our right tackle, didn't practice on Friday, questionable with a hamstring. I'm not really sure if he's going to play or not. That's the Jerry Hughes, backup defensive end, out with a hip. Joe Mixon is out again. And Dame Pierce is questionable with a hamstring, but last I heard, he might not play. And then my man Robert Woods is questionable with a foot injury, but he was limited in practice. But we're gonna have Tank Dell back, so that kind of pushes Rob down the chain there. So I hate to say this. It might be beneficial for somebody to put Cam Akers in their lineup.
You know what's funny is I added him to my running back list and I thought the same thing.
But it might be beneficial.
He's low owned, and he's got a good matchup on paper.
4.75% owned.
He was high owned and he had a shitty matchup. This is a good matchup and he's low owned.
He's still some poop on, and I just
I feel like he's going to get passes out the backfield this game.
Do it. I don't know, man. Like I could just see it scares me because Dare is still there. He's caught that game on a touchdown last week. JJ Taylor takes away also down in distance and passing downs. This needs to be like, and Cam Akers is not Derrick Henry, right? So it just takes one stupid ass fumble that we know Cam Akers does, and we're just right back in the shit show. So put him in your lineups, low owned, but do that with the cautionary tale that he might screw you in the end because he is Cam Akers.
I think another element to this game is the Stephon Diggs sort of revenge game, right?
He's on the revenge tour.
Instance,
revenge
these
tour
last
this week.
3 games, he's had over 15 plus fantasy points. He hasn't gotten the end zone since the first week, but the targets are there. The NFL loves to scheme up. Did he score last week?
Yeah.
Okay. It was on a Russian touchdown. I apologize.
Yeah.
It was on a Russian touchdown.
It was a stupid swing. Like, yeah.
Yep. But from a reception standpoint, from a receiving standpoint, he hasn't scored since the first week. But again, I really like this matchup as well. Teams really love to get that get back touchdown, to kind of shove it in your face a little bit. I just see Diggs wanting to go absolutely insane tomorrow. I like him with sort of a match him with, of course, CJ Stroud, the quarterback there, kind of swing it back, as Phil said, with Keon Coleman. I like him tomorrow with no Shakir. I just think that the matchup set up friendly. As in the previous matchup where I didn't think it would make the total, I do like this 47-point total in this matchup. I see both sides scoring pretty at not sort of at will, but at good frequency. The Jaguars in the last matchup gave up 2 sort of wide open touchdowns against that Texans defense that were just terrible throws by Trevor Lawrence that didn't get there. But the schemes were there. I kind of see that potentially now getting connected with a strong quarterback like Allen here, who will have the time also to get the pass off.
Keon Coleman can catch the down ball. Hey, okay, we'll get your question at the end, and if you have any other like in lineup insights, hit it to us, and we'll be able to parse it out a little bit better too. So, but yeah, man. You know what? I'm gonna say this. I think that this could be like if Keon Coleman catch the down ball because it was like wide open passes against a Raven that he just dropped. That was what the hell was going on. And then, but this could be a game where CJ try to find everybody. Like just I don't know. I
You
might.
need to clear him with 2 regardless. CJ's got to be with 2, and Allen has to be with 2 if you're gonna run either of these quarterbacks.
I think you could get Nico and Tank, or Steph and Tank, or.
But I was thinking, I think it's got to be Tank and Stefan or Tank and Nico. I don't think you can have value for the rest of your lineup if you run Nico and Diggs. Takes up too much money.
But somebody did not sleep on him. Is to sleep on Dalton Schultz, like, because the Buffalo's not very good against the tight end. They're like 7. They're middle of the pack. And then if they got banged up safeties, they got banged up linebackers. What does Dalton Schultz do? Run him in the middle.
Dalton Kincaid is chalk, and y'all are the number 1 against tight end. Like, see, that's like shit that you can get around and separate yourself from these idiots playing DFS. Like, there's no
That's
reason.
what I was saying that too. I was like, what the
number 1? Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's other spots to hit. I mean, we were talking about that Baltimore game. I mean, the tight end spot's a good spot for Burrow. Baltimore is weak against the tight end. He's just not weak against the wide receivers. So Eric All or Mike Gesicki. I'm gonna say
Eric All might be a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you backtrack to that, but yeah, Dalton Schultz is in play for tomorrow. That's for sure.
Phil, what is how many times was how many snaps did Cade Stover play last week?
Yeah, I don't have that up. I can pull it up.
I was about to pull it up, but I felt like you might have had it up already. That's why I asked.
My PC reset on its own the other day, and I have to reload everything. So.
Yeah, mine just did it too, so that's why I was.
Were we at the Buffalo game? Who is it?
Cade Stover for Houston. Farmer Gronk. Okay. See him out there quite often, but I just don't know how many routes he's running right now.
He's on the field 32% last week, 25% on the season, and he got maybe a target, it looks like.
Yeah, just one target. That's what I was just wondering, like, how much he's been on the field, but no, it's
not a lot. It's not significant. I mean, Stephon and Nico on the field the same, essentially 82 and 84%. Dalton Schultz on the field 86%, but not getting a lot of targets on the season, only 10% on the season.
I mean, I feel like Nico Collins just bullies the shit out of the defense for the Bills tomorrow. If
Tank's not on the field that much, only 48% and 0% targets last week, so maybe he's somebody you don't play tomorrow. That's tough to say, but he just hasn't been there this year.
I just don't know if it's just that they're not scheming him yet, and they were just. I don't know, and I was a full on like this is not going to be Stephon Diggs taken into, but everything that I saw Tank Dell do last season, Stephon Diggs is doing now, and I don't like I said I don't know if it's just Bobby's just not scheming him up, or
it's a lot of mouths to feed.
Another thing on the Cam Akers thing too is he didn't get any targets last week. They all went to Oklahoma.
Dare,
and so, and he only rushed 52%, and they gave some to JJ Taylor. Actually, quite a bit to JJ Taylor.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. That's what I was like.
Cam Akers is well owned with a good matchup. He still might not be worth going to.
Especially if you can't get those catches, even just a couple, 2 for 3 for 45 yards could be the difference.
DraftKings, you want those catches, man. So like FanDuel, if you want to take some stabs at them, absolutely. But DraftKings, I feel like you need a pass catching running back on your lineup to win.
I think that Cam Akers is in FanDuel. He's probably at his price range the best running back that's available tomorrow, other than maybe Trey Sermon down there that's below him.
Yeah, we have a cheap one tomorrow. Tracy for the Giants.
For the Giants, yeah, Tyrone Tracy, yeah.
Starting is cheap. So if you need a cheap one, I'll probably go there before I go to Cam Akers.
Well, Tyrone Tracy also gets catches too, where
that's why we go there.
where they
Jones
don't. Where
is more likely. Yep. Jones is more likely to dump it off too. Dump it off to running backs. He has that tendency.
Yeah. He's always like under pressure, right? Take this.
Yeah. That is true for sure. But 47 points, it's a 1-point spread. Obviously got to be a homer and think that we win this game. But I will definitely have stacked Texans lineups here.
It's gonna be close. I think if you run anybody from this game, you got to do a bring back.
Yeah.
Give me Houston tomorrow. I just think Diggs is gonna just do his thing tomorrow and be just enough to get that W.
I'll be the odd man out. I'll go Buffalo for this one. It's tough, man. I like Allen, but he is without Shakir. I would like to say Texans take this, but Allen's gonna make it competitive. That's just his nature.
Yeah. I just feel like and I mean, someone we haven't talked about is James Cook. Obviously, James Cook he's better than Tank Bigsby, right? And this could be that section where James Cook comes in because they don't have Shakir, right? Like they need to do that. They need to move the ball with him. And you guys moved the ball with us on running the ball. So
it's open.
So I think that even though he's not chalk.
A good play on the
Buffalo
side.
7,000, but he's only 7% owned.
A good play on the Buffalo side is going to be Mac Hollins. He's the highest target share on the team, and my man is like 3,000. He's cheap. So he had the highest targets last year. He's tied for the most targets as a wide receiver on Buffalo.
He wasn't on Buffalo last season though. He was on.
No, he was on the Raiders.
Atlanta. He was Atlanta last year, I think. He was in Atlanta last year, I think. Yeah.
I don't remember him being on the Raiders, but and that's without Shakir here. So I don't see stats for Shakir because he's not in. But with what we have, he's the highest target.
And he plays this. He's on the field a lot because he plays special teams too. So
and I think he's pretty big. I think he's fucking tall or something like that. So
yeah,
your end zone guy as well. So dial me up Mac Hollins as a bring back for if I'm running any type of Houston lineup.
He's 6'4", 220. So
yeah,
there you go.
Bitch.
He had 6 targets last week. So he had the most targets last week than he's had all season. So
and he's tied with Keon Coleman on the season.
But he had 1 reception. So like these guys can't catch. These guys can't catch shit. That's the problem. Like Josh Allen just throw the ball to him and they just can't catch. So it'll be tomorrow. If they're going to learn to catch, it's going to be tomorrow against us. So yeah.
3,100, I think. So if he's fucking 3,100, he's only got to catch the ball 3 times. Essentially, there's his 3 points, and then hopefully there's 20 yards with each one of them.
Yeah.
And one of them be an end zone, and you've broken the fucking slate with Mac Hollins.
How about Curtis? How much was
people
Curtis?
Are like, man, why didn't I play him?
Well, this could be that guy.
Curtis Samuel, I think, is 4,200, but he is on the field fucking 30% of the time, which is horrible. And
he should be on the field more than that.
Yeah,
way more than that. He's such a gimmicky guy. Like he should be.
I mean, him and Marquez Valdez-Scantling are pretty close. Actually, Valdez-Scantling was on the field more than him last week, so that's something Buffalo is seeing at practice probably.
I don't know. He's had a toe injury. He came in the season with a toe injury, so he's like he's just not been full. I don't think he's been full guy. So, but
Nursing.
yeah, I'm gonna take the boys tomorrow. H-Town till I drown. So,
All right, run the next
yeah,
one.
on the candy blue paint.
Once.
All right, so this one has dropped a point since last night.
Action right here. I
This
see
one-
this one action pack.
It's now 49 points. It's now 49
Vegas is
points, but
listening. Vegas
They
is
say-
listening, Nate.
I feel like Brock Purdy is gonna have a coming out party against the Cardinals tomorrow.
He's
I
got
feel
every
like he's gonna fucking
for CMC, so
fry them.
he's got Ayuk.
28 points, highest team total tomorrow.
Question is, who's going to score it? Mason's the highest on running back, and you got 3.
He's definitely got to be cash. You got to put him in your cash lineups for sure.
What is Purdy's ownership? Damn, second highest on.
Everybody's seeing it, man.
Yeah, I mean the problem though when you run QBs like this in DFS is one, they're high owned, and two, who the fuck's gonna get the point? Because it could be Samuel, it could be Ayuk, it could be Mason, it could be Juan Jennings, and it's like that's too hard for me to pick. So what I naturally do is like I shut down mentally, and I'm like, I'm not playing.
Okay, so this might add some clarity. I'll give you some injuries here. Okay, Isaiah Adams for these are for the Cardinals first. Cardinals, Isaiah Adams are guard out with a thumb injury. Kelvin Beachum, their left tackle, believe he's left tackle, limited in practice on Friday, questionable with a hamstring. Their other tackle, Christian Jones, questionable, limited in practice with an ankle. Trey McBride popped back up on the injury report today. He went off the injury report and popped back up on it with a rib injury. He's questionable. Matt Prater, their kicker, who can like kick the ball through the field wall, is questionable with a left knee injury. So not that really matters that much for DFS purposes, but it matters for scoring. And Kyrus Tonga, defensive tackle, questionable with a knee, and Garrett Williams, corner, out with a groin injury. And then for the Niners, they got a couple backups, wide receivers, Chris Conley and Jacob Cowing, limited in practice. Conley's doubtful. Cowing is questionable. Kalia Davis, defensive tackle, questionable with a knee injury. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, linebacker, questionable, out with a calf. Yetter Gross Matos, defensive end, out with a knee. Kittle was limited in practice on Friday, still questionable with a rib injury. Here is the big one. Fred Warner, okay, questionable, limited in practice with an ankle, okay? Even though he's limited, that dude is all over the place, okay? If he's at 85%, 75%, still makes that defense a little bit easier to attack. Fred Warner at 100% is scary, but 75%, okay, can take some shots right there in the middle of the field because obviously he's running freaking interceptions back from the middle linebacker spot. And then cornerback Isaac Yadam didn't practice and is out, is questionable with a thigh injury. So there's your injury report. So with that being said, why is it 50 points? 49 points now.
Because even with him in, their defense isn't all that great. They're middle of the pack. Arizona's middle of the pack. Both are pretty fast-paced offenses. I would like to say, even though San Francisco is coming in at a very low-paced offense.
Is this at 49ers or at
Cardinals?
At 49ers.
It is in Santa Clara, yes.
Okay. So then I could kind of see then the 4 touchdown sort of projection for the 49ers here, just kind of having that home field advantage, not having to deal with the crowd noise. I do agree with Phil, though. I just am not necessarily sure how Shanahan is going to scheme it up tomorrow as far as for where the touches are going to go. I can see 4 touchdowns, yes. I'm just again, I'm not necessarily sure exactly where it's going to go. I like Marvin Harrison again tomorrow against this 49ers defense, especially with a sort of a hurt um, Fred Warner a little bit. I think that Kyler Murray is going to have to scramble around a bit to be able to find his marks, and if he is able to kind of get from that first initial wave of pressure, I see Harrison coming open tomorrow again. I think he could potentially have a similar game to what Jefferson had against the 49ers a couple weeks back. I think the scheme lends to that.
Well, obviously against Arizona, Jaden Daniels went 233 yards against him. So there's that.
It's tough, like Brad was saying, where the 4 score is going to go. It's like 2 go to Mason and 1 goes to Ayuk and 1 goes to Jennings. It's like it's too spread out for those type of players to get value. But I do see some value somewhere, and it's Arizona. Brad likes Harrison, but Harrison is 7,500 price tag. I don't know how much he's owned. Let's
What
see.
you got? Who you like? Dortch?
No, Michael Wilson. I gotta look at the ownership, but Michael Wilson, he out targeted everybody on the team last week. 31% target.
He's less than 2% owned. Wilson is.
18% targets on the season, and he's on the field 85% of the time. So if anybody's there to get you value, my man's 4,400, and he's getting. If he gets more than Harrison again this week, then by virtue of numbers, he's already your value. He's worth taking stabs at. I mean, they're going to need to score against San Francisco. Field goals aren't going to cut it, and it could absolutely be him based on these numbers. And I don't know how much was Harrison owned. He's on. Oh no, he's on 5%. Sorry. So Harrison's not owned a lot neither, but the price tag is high on him. So for purposes of having like that salary saver, and somebody's going to be getting wide receiver 1 target share, I like Michael Wilson better. I think the value is there.
So I'm just looking at past games. Greg Dortch, 15 catches for 148 yards in 5 games against the 49ers. He's never got into the end zone against them. Greg Dortch.
Yeah, he's viable too, but he gets a break in both of them. So, but it could be him tomorrow. I'm pretty sure Greg Dortch has won people $1 million before.
Michael Wilson has 7 catches for 76 yards and scored 2 touchdowns in 2 games against the 49ers. So his first game against them last season was the game that he came out. His coming out game, I believe, like the game that he popped up on the thing and he jumped on people's waiver wire and jumped up on DFS. And then the next week he just was nowhere to be found. Because he had 7 receptions on 7 targets for 76 yards. And then the next time when they played him 2 months later, he had 0, 0, 0, 0. So maybe this is trending back to where Michael Wilson's going to do that again, because they have Marvin Harrison and all the coverage is shifting to the pseudo number 1. But
also, James Conner is not a bad look neither. San Francisco's middle of the pack against the run, and he's 3% owned in a game that's projected to be pretty high scoring. He might get, and this is a type of running back who's not out of the game script if Arizona gets put behind by numerous touchdowns.
We said that against Buffalo, and he didn't go out. So he has 83 carries for 348 yards and 6 touchdowns in 6 games against the 49ers in career.
Yeah, so if you're going like into this game, I think it's hard to get value on the 49er side just because they have so many targets and the prices of the players. So I think if you're going to hit this game, it should be the Arizona side.
So Kyler Murray has pass rating of 86.5 with over 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in 6 games against the 49ers. So he's mediocre against the 49ers. But if my brain serves me right, this Arizona 49ers matchup has always been the one where back a few years ago, it was a Chase Edmonds game. You know what I'm saying? Like these were always Chase Edmonds type games when Chase Edmonds was on the Cardinals. And so with that being said, I think this lends more to the James Conner type game because obviously they're going to have to throw it, but James Conner doesn't come out. He can do all three downs if he needs to, you know? So 49ers are it's just like you said, hard to.
Who's going to get the value?
It's hard to know
value out of them. Even if they get their 4 touchdowns, like Brad said, Jordan Mason is 7,400. I mean, he needs 28 to 32 points to hit value. So, I mean, I'm obviously going to play probably Jordan Mason in cash because he's high owned and he's going to get you, he's going to, get you some points. But that's not going to win you a tournament that's got 300,000 people in it. It's not going to win you $1 million. Who's going to win you $1 million is somebody that can get you value, and that's on the Arizona side.
I'm just looking at Jennings.
I like Connor. I like Wilson. I think if you're mass entering, you're going to get. I think you should go over the field on their ownership for sure.
You said what? Say that again.
If you're mass entering, go over the field on ownership for James Conner and Michael Wilson.
Oh, okay. So I have more of them.
Yeah, add more. Right now, James Conner's like 3% owned. I think you'd be all right having like 25%. Way above the field.
If this is me, if I'm pressed to put a 49ers player in tomorrow, it's going to be Juwan Jennings. Just for the simple fact that it doesn't matter. They had Debo and Ayuk both on the field and Kittle last week.
He had the most targets.
He still had 6 targets.
He had the most last week. He's got the most on the season, but
Ayuk is the one I'm fading. I'm fading him. I think if you have options in season long that are getting more targets, this is the game where you fade Ayuk. You set his ass on the bench this week until he shows up because he hasn't showed up. Like, dude's got so much talent, but there's people with less talent getting the ball more than him. And I just feel like it may be because he doesn't have his chemistry is not there, and Juwan Jennings has built more chemistry with Brock Purdy as of late. But I think I'm fading. You talk about guys like Trevor Lawrence that I would take the ass chewing on, that the fall into the bottom. This would be the week that I'm doing that with Brennan Ayuk because I just don't I don't trust him now because of what's going on. I don't. So I think I'm out, like as the Shark Tank say. So I'm out, and that's on Ayuk. So I'm not buying it.
On Jennings' standpoint, because he's only on the field 60% of the time, and he's pulling a 22% target share. So impressive on his end that if he was on the field more, I think he'd be taking the number one spot as the target.
I mean, and Jawan Jennings only 5,600. I mean, and
That's
he's
because Samuel's back, and
3% less than 3. I mean, he was back last week. So
yeah, but he was fresh back off the injury, so it's a little tougher. Sometimes there's always that slow game when they come back. But
I mean, he had 5 targets. Debo had 5 targets last week. So
they're not. This is another thing that hurts Mason that people don't understand. When Samuel's in the game, that hurts Mason because they dial Samuel up as a running back for goal line rushes, even middle of the field rushes. So that's where Samuel gets his value.
Ayuk had 5 targets as well. So, but I think this is the week that if I got to fade one of them, it's him is who I'm fading. I mean, and Kittle had 4 targets, so the targets are there, I would say, but Purdy's spreading them around. He's getting them to everybody, and then keep that George Kittle questionable tag in your mind, and if he's out, the backup tight ends ain't it, and who does those backup tight end routes? Jawan Jennings, like who runs that those George Kittle routes because he's big.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. If George Kittle is out tomorrow, and you got to play at San Francisco and you want to get something in this game, I think it's got to be Jawan Jennings. So that's just me. That's my 2 cents on the San Francisco 49ers. But I think that I don't think they score this much. I don't think they blow them out by. I mean, that's his full 7 now.
I
like the 49ers with the 7. I think they beat them by a touchdown.
I could see him winning by 10, actually. So
it's an afternoon game.
I want to say I like the over in this too, though.
Well, obviously, like I said, it just shifted from 50 to 49. So
it's a high line, but it can what's crazy is it can certainly play way under, and it could certainly play to the over. So just one of those games where we've seen Arizona's offense be sloppy and they're not scoring. We've seen 49ers not score a lot, and then we've also seen both of them just powerhouse the routine. So
this is why Brock Purdy's up there. He has a passer rating of 150 with 703 yards and 8 touchdowns in 4 games.
Yeah.
So you're saying start him in the Millie Maker tomorrow?
And he's literally only played, and that's 4 games he's been active, and he's literally only played in 3 of them.
If he favors Jawan Jennings or just anybody on that team, he could be a Millie winning captain, but he's going to have to favor one. He can't spread the ball out unless you want to run him by himself, and I don't think that's a good idea in the Millie Maker. But
he had 4 touchdowns the last time they played. There's your 4 touchdowns. That's what they're saying. 242 yards last game. So
got him figured out.
Yeah. So, but okay. Well, we can hop to the final game. Kind of staying in the NFC. The Green Bay Packers at the Rams. No love for SoFi home field advantage here, though. 3 points to the Packers.
That's because they just came back at the end of the game on Minnesota. So, by the way, we called that. We knew Minnesota was going to wash them, and they did. And then I think they just garbage timed them.
But they still Minnesota's still 4-0 though.
Yeah, I mean we called that, but that's probably why Green Bay is getting the love is because they just put up a lot of points on Minnesota. But I think it was all garbage time.
What's the injury report on this? Because I just see this game playing lower than the 48-5. I know that Jordan Love, just like Phil was saying, kind of went off in some garbage time touchdowns, but this game seems like it may play kind of close, and so he may not even kind of have those opportunities for those garbage touchdowns because defenses aren't playing that prevent style defense anymore.
Right.
By the way, I think this game depends on what happens in the morning. By the way, what happens in London is where this game goes, because I feel like if the Vikings get beat by the Jets, the Packers don't have to keep the pedal to the metal as hard. That's just this weird feeling. Like I feel like the NFL is like, you don't gotta slow down there, not so fast, my friend. You know what I'm saying? So, but that may just be my tinfoil hat theory. But for injuries, the Packers, Jair Alexander is still on the injury report with that groin injury. He's limited in practice, but questionable. So he did go, so that could be a thing. Edgerrin Cooper, limited in practice. He's a linebacker. He's questionable. Romeo Dobbs. Okay, there we go. He is suspended for a personal matter. So Jonathan Ford, defensive tackle, questionable, limited in practice. Elgton Jenkins, guard, questionable, limited in practice with a knee. Jordan Morgan, limited in practice, questionable. He's a tackle. Luke Musgrave, number 2 tight end, didn't practice, questionable with an ankle. Carrington Valentine, one of their corners, limited in practice, questionable with an ankle. Christian Watson did not practice, doubtful with an ankle. And Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle, number 2 defensive tackle, I believe, Kenny Clark, did not practice and is out with an ankle for Green Bay. And then for the Rams, Cooper Kupp still out with an ankle, and Laurel Murchison, defensive tackle, out with a forearm and a foot injury. Other than that, they are pretty good to go. And I forgot Tre'Davious White plays for the Rams. That's so weird. Colby Parkinson?
High owned.
I know. Because everybody sees what.
Everybody sees the same shit, and they go.
And Jordan Whittington, Jaden Reed, like this game is like so high owned. Like all the players in this game are chalk.
Jaden Reed is the highest owned.
Yeah.
Somebody only had 14% targets last week.
And Dontavion Wicks.
So they had to air it out to come back. Still only 14% targets. So the fact that this game's getting a lot of love and it's an afternoon game tells me that this game is definitely playing to the under, like Brad said. It's not going to be what people think it is. And afternoon games that have chalk always play opposite. It plays shit.
I want to see. I want to see where is the
I
game.
think Brad nailed it right on the head when he said, like, he played that way because they were behind and they were running.
It's on CBS. It's going to play to the under. It's on CBS. Nobody's watching the damn CBS afternoon game, and it's a big one. That Arizona San Francisco game is probably the game of the week. I bet it is, and it's an afternoon. It's on Fox, and Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt's on it. That game's going to play to the over. This one's not. I would be very surprised if this one. This probably gets Matt Ryan.
Might even be the fucking Giants game. The low over under game get all the love.
I just feel like everybody's running to all the Packers receivers, and
they are.
Again, you talk about San Francisco having a problem of who to throw the ball to, and Miles defeat, and us in Houston having. But I don't feel like there's a number one there in Green Bay.
People really look at the numbers, but they don't understand. They also don't pay attention to how the numbers got there. And they got there through a prevent defense of a team that was blowing them out, where they absolutely had to throw the ball every play downfield to even come close to catching up to Minnesota. And that's why they picked up numbers. And that's why Jordan Love had good numbers. That's not going to happen in this game. The Rams aren't a team that's going to get a lead like that.
I mean, like
I see a more balanced flow from the Packers tomorrow. Really trying to get down to the run game. Maybe if you want to pull somebody from this game, maybe looking at more of the running backs. then
Kyron.
kind of going towards. I know everyone's going towards the receivers or looking at receivers here, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to be that style game. You might have it, running back, get those catches out of the backfield, end up with, 15, 20, 30 points almost. Maybe even not even necessarily having to get too many touchdowns to get those totals. This matchup just feels that way. And McVay's offense is built off of the run, that zone scheme that sets up the play action, which gets the receivers going on the Rams side. If they can't run the ball, everything collapses.
I don't see, no one's looking at him, and I'm going to have him in lineup. So I'm telling you right now, Matthew Stafford is not getting any damn love after what Sam Darnold just did to this fucking Green Bay Packers team. This is essentially the same fucking offense. They're going against the same offense one more week because Kevin O'Connell is a McVay disciple.
Could be. It's a good play. No one's on it.
I like 5,500.
Josh Jacobs in this one.
I'm just saying, like, why is nobody going to Matthew Stafford after what Sam Darnold? It's insane to me. Like, Sam Darnold just put up 275 yards, 3 touchdowns against them. I think Matthew Stafford has at least 225 or 250 in him.
Well, also, that's a good play. And then the Jacobs, because the Rams got torched by Swift, and Jacobs, people aren't like heavy on Jacobs because his carries went from a lot to like none last week. But people don't understand it went to none last week because they were fucking down by so much. So all the way back to what we were saying, he got schemed out of the game and they had to air it out. But in this game, I don't think they're going to have to do that. I think this is a Josh Jacobs game. And that's why I said it plays to the under. It might be a Kyron game too. But Kyron is the second highest owned player. So if we're looking for value, I think it's Jacobs.
I mean, it's like I'm just gonna keep going back to Matthew Stafford. He had 317 against Detroit. He had 216 against Arizona, 220 against San Francisco, and 224 against the Bears. Like I say, he has at least 225 in him tomorrow, and I don't know if that's. I mean, Sam Darnold, didn't he win a millie for somebody? Not last week, but it was Justin Fields. But that was because he has a running availability. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm overthinking things. But God Almighty, that
games that you named though, Cooper Kupp was in, wasn't
he? The first one. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to pick a receiver though with him because it's been Jordan Whittington last week, but it hasn't been him on the season, and he's the second highest owned wide receiver. So maybe you go to Tutu or DeMarcus Robinson. Probably Robinson. He's got more percent on the season, and he's on the field 90% of the time. Maybe you go to him and Colby Parkinson. You know, Colby's chalk, but you're taking him with Robinson, who's not chalk, and you're taking him with Stafford. So they'll bring back with my man Jacobs and get all the millies.
I'm looking at a weird. I went back and looked at an old millie. Matthew Stafford run with Tyler Higbee and Cooper Kupp. Okay. So this is, I'm just saying this is an old one. This is from 2021, but I'm looking at it. Matthew Stafford, Tyler Higbee, and Cooper Kupp. Okay. So Higbee was 6.4% owned. Cooper Kupp was 18% owned. All right. So Colby Parkinson, Jordan Whittington, maybe, right? But listen to who else is in this lineup. James Conner, Juwan Jennings.
Everybody that we can play tomorrow.
And Chase Claypool. Okay, and this
was
Chase.
That guy.
Chase Claypool. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Chase Claypool. that's Keon Coleman essentially, right? Like Keon Coleman is like this times version of Chase Claypool. Like he could totally be that guy. That's funny.
Fuck
But
that guy.
I'm so I feel this actually might be the week that you didn't win the Millie. Because I want to feel was it 2021? Or was it 2020?
Yeah, I think it was 2021.
But
I think I
anyways,
won it. I won it on week 3.
okay, this was late in the year, but
And I ran a Tannehill lineup. And I also had Gurley. Todd Gurley when he was on Atlanta, and nobody was playing Gurley that week. So that was one of them spots where I was like, Gurley's 2% owned? Like, I don't fucking get it.
another time that Matthew Stafford is in there, he was run with another time he ran with Odell Beckham Jr. and Darrell Henderson. So if it tells you anything, if you're running him, he needs to be run with 2 players, like you said, CJ and Josh Allen do.
Yeah.
So
Anytime they're not a mobile quarterback, they have to be run with 2.
and it was against Green Bay.
Oh shit. That's crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
dial it up. Run it back.
I'm just saying that that's my I will have Matthew Stafford in DFS lineups tomorrow.
History repeats itself, baby.
And if he does win me $1 million, you guys are gonna know about it. I'm gonna just be I'm gonna go straight. I'm gonna call him, be like, hey, I need to get Matthew Stafford on the phone. He's also my favorite Georgia quarterback of all time, even though he didn't win us a national championship, but he's still my favorite. So yes.
Yeah, bring it back with Jacob. And with James Conner from the Arizona game.
And he brought back that one time that it was against Green Bay. One time it was against Green Bay, and then I was trying to see what the bring back on that was. Where'd it go?
My man Jack is still with us. Let me look at this.
What's up, Jack? Okay, Jack.
Let's look at this, Jack.
Let's get it. We'll hop on Jack's question right now because he's hung out. So
that's good.
Jack, what is? I see your question earlier about profile pick. You're Michael Jackson. I get you. Nice pick. But anyways, Zay Flowers or Xavier Worthy?
That shit's nice.
10-man PPR. Purdy. Okay, obviously. Chuba, Kyron, Jetta, DK, Kincaid, Zay, Jake Moody, Seattle's D. Worthy or Flowers?
It is Kansas City plays.
You guys on Monday night.
Oh yeah, that's right. I might go with the Zay Flowers for the matchup purposes.
Let's see.
PPR. It's so tough, man. Baltimore's one.
Well, you gotta think. You gotta think now. Xavier Worthy's got to be the number 1 without Rashee Rice.
And if he is, that means he's gonna get Lattimore. So that's why I don't like him.
I like Flowers here. He's had multiple games where he's had 10+ targets in the game. I think that this matchup against the Bengals lends for him to potentially have that many targets in this type of a showdown. So I would take Zay Flowers tomorrow over Xavier Wood.
Let me see.
I agree.
Flowers, because
even more now that I know they're playing the Saints, because if he's the number 1, he's gonna get Lattimore covering him, and he ain't ready for that. He's not ready for that.
Nope.
So in his career, Zay Flowers had 5 targets for 62 yards in the first meeting with Cincinnati. So 10 and 10.8 fantasy points. And then in the second one, he went 3 receptions on 4 targets for 43 yards for 8 fantasy points. So this is going to be that game where, like we've said before, if it goes up, he will win. He will be good. Like Lamar Jackson's going to get him the ball. But if it plays down, he's going to be worthless. I don't know. I'm hoping you guys are right, but I like Xavier Worthy. That's just me though, because I feel like that Patrick Mahomes needs to get right. Like somebody got to get targets, and it's either going to be him or Kelsey at this point.
Pat Mahomes hasn't gotten right yet. That's earlier you asked what we were most shocked by. Brad spoke on Minnesota. I was going to speak on Kansas City. I have no idea how they're 4-0 playing the way they're playing on offense. It's fucking atrocious.
I know somebody that's got to run this Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy stack tomorrow, and you guys know who that is.
Yeah, I know who that is too. So she needs that to happen, but Lattimore is too goated for that. It's too goated for that rookie.
I feel like that Lattimore. Oh no, it's going to be tough, and that's on Monday night. That's the thing. It's Monday night. It's Monday night. That's the part that.
And that's another reason why Xavier might not do well. He's going to be chalk. He's supposed to be wide receiver 1 on a Monday night slate. He's going to go up against a solid ass corner, and Pat Mahomes has not looked that good. Saints defense has. Literally, we've looked pretty good on defense. You saw what Atlanta just did with the ball against Buccaneers. Non-stop scoring. They barely could score on the Saints. They had to score from defense to win the game. And then we held the Eagles to like 3 points the entire game.
It's going to be a Justin Watson game on fucking Monday nights. What's going to be?
I don't think it's going to be a Chiefs offensive type game. That's for
sure. Because no Mecole Hardman. They're gonna blanket him. So I think it might be safe to go Zay Flowers here, Jack. So search and kill here off of Twitch.
They didn't give us more though.
I think you got to start Sermon no matter what. Even start Sermon no matter what. Like no matter what here, because Kareem Hunt, they haven't figured it out. Like I don't think he's worth it yet.
Well, Sermon's getting the whole backfield and Hunt is not. So.
Hunt hasn't made it yet. I think that again, like Phil just said, the defense that he's going against is better than the Jags defense against the run.
Correct.
And there's nobody to pull it. So okay, says Allen or Don. Oh, I like this one a little bit better. Allen with Downs or Flacco solo with Nico.
Push Josh Allen?
Yeah. He's talking about Josh Allen with Josh Downs or Flacco solo with Nico Collins, which that's a crazy. Why? I mean, if you have that option, why not run Allen and Nico? But if this is a either or, if I got to pick one of the two, I think Flacco does better with Nico Collins than Allen does with Downs.
Give me Allen over Flacco any day.
I'm just saying, like, if this is in this scenario,
that way, why don't we just run Allen with Nico?
That's what I'm saying. If that's the case, run Allen and Nico. But if this is, I got to pick either or, I'm picking Flacco and Nico because I think that they score better, more together, like more, because Flacco gets it to more people.
Give me Allen and Downs regardless. If we got to pick either. Go Allen and Downs as well. I just think both their matchups win a little bit more points than what you'll see from Flacco and Nico tomorrow. Again, I like Diggs tomorrow a little bit more than Nico. I think Nico took advantage of a sorry Jacksonville team.
You've been taking advantage of a lot of sorry ass people this season. Though.
Next one.
Apple says start one. Madison 2-2. Sermon Dowdle.
2-2 game, man. We were just kind of talking about that.
It's a flex. Again, I'm gonna ride this here because I put him in my waiver wire. I think you got to ride Sermon. Like that's it. Like he's a number one. Madison still has to worry about Zeus why, even though that they've kind of abandoned him, you still got to worry about that. I don't think that bullshit Raiders team is just so bad. Is so bad, and that game's going to be so slow. I don't want no part of anybody playing for the Raiders. And then Tutu's
got a competition there with people that are getting the ball.
With Whittington, Demarcus Robinson, he got to worry about Kobe Parkinson cutting in. I think Sermon is the one you got to go to.
He said White is out.
Oh, he is. I see that now. But I still think that
I still go Sermon. He's getting the whole backfield. On another note, though, I think it's between Tutu or Sermon, not the other two. If that helps, that's my point of view.
Because what
we were just talking about that game. It's got potential to be a shootout, even though me and Brad don't think it's going to be. Cody does, and if it does, it could be 2-2.
Because what? Then Denver just put like the freaking Jets, like Brees Hall in a box last week. They put Brees Hall. He put Brees Hall in a box last week.
Yeah.
I don't want no part of that defense. And it
Literally,
was in New York.
He had like 13 yards or some fucking dumb shit. He had 3 points. Brees Hall had 3 points. An 8K running back with 3 points.
Yeah, he had 10 carries for 4 yards.
My bad, it was 4. Maybe I was thinking 3. I was giving him too much credit.
Braylon Allen had 8 carries for 34. That's still not enough to win you shit.
2 running backs combining for 38 yards.
No, I don't want no part of that. No part of that. So I think you got to play Sermon here. And then Dowdle, I don't know. That it's against the Steelers defense. I think they're going to have to throw against that defense.
No score game.
Oh, here we got a Dallas fan, Camilo Garcia. Who should I try to trade JT for? I need a receiver. Also, someone sent me a Devontae and Jonathan Brooks for Jonathan Taylor. What should I do? Jonathan Brooks hasn't been activated in his practice window yet, so he's still on IR. Devontae, we don't know who he's going to play for next.
It's a little too early. Don't make that trade for Devontae yet.
JT,
a lot of risk there. But I guess
can we see the rest?
Jonathan Taylor's not going to play.
Oh, he wants a receiver. So JT,
you need to get somebody that's valued like that.
How does one get into
fantasy? I'll deal with that. I will deal with that question. Thanks for asking, little sister. Thanks. We appreciate it. You just call us, and we will get you in the league. I promise. ESPN just depends on where you got you. If you have a bunch of friends that you can beat up on, tell them that your brother and your extended family here at Ballers and Briefs get you right, and you can win your league. So.
No, you might be able to get a T. Higgins for JT.
But isn't
he's along not my bread and butter like theirs though. So
I want to look at something.
But I just see like the potential. They also don't know the extent of JT's injury and how long he's going to be out.
I'm trying to see JT. Let's see, filter PPR.
I mean, see now, running
backs he's a 6th rank. He's a 6th rank running back in fantasy points this season. Jonathan Taylor is with 72 points.
Yeah, I would say I know he's injured right now, but I think as the season wears on, especially as you get into the later months, running backs start to get more yards, defense start to get more injured and just tired of tackling people, basically. Jonathan Taylor's had a bunch of games where he's not maybe this year, but in the past where he's definitely gone off. I think it's still there. He's just dealing with a lot of injuries. I will hold it, wait towards the playoff if you can get there, and then go from there.
His wide receivers are Smitty, Ayuk, Shaheed, and Zay. And then his running backs are Saquon, Kenny. Chubb's going to come back and be a league winner. And
he could get rid of JT.
I would get rid of JT. Go out and try to get you somebody that's like
He wants to know who though. I mean, I was thinking Hagen based on his injury, but he might be able to do better.
I want you could do you could do him if somebody wants him, needs him bad enough, you could sell him for a Drake London, a Mike Evans, DK, ASB, like
See if you can get Christian Olave. I mean, I think that might be a fair trade.
Hey,
Christian
who that?
Olave
I'm
for
just
the
saying
New
5.
Orleans Saints. If you can find him, if someone's willing to cut the deal for you, I
I
think
think
he'll fit in well. He gets a lot of targets. I think again that chemistry is real well. He's going to continue to do, production within the offense week after week. If you want to
not
see
unless if Devontae goes there, he's not.
Marvin Harrison for JT. I mean, yeah, if you can potentially pull
I was
that
actually
off.
gonna.
I would like that. That's a good trade. You're losing about 10 points one way or the other, but you need to upgrade it because your wide receivers, none of them are even in the top 10 in the list. So I was saying maybe DK, Amon-Ra at best, Marvin Harrison, like Brad just said, Olave at worst. I think
like
that's
DK trade too.
because DK, you're basically breaking even there, because above him is Darnell Mooney, Jawan Jennings, Jaden Reed, and I don't really have full faith in those guys are going to be league winners. But above that is Jetta, Evans, Drake London, Godwin, Nico, and Malik Neighbors. So I'm saying DK,
Debo for him.
ASB, hell, you might even can get somebody's thirsty for him, maybe even Jamar Chase.
Try to get Debo for him.
I like that Marvin Harrison though. I like Marvin Harrison a lot because that's a
yeah.
So anybody that we just said would work. BTJ maybe, and another depth piece.
I thought about that one, but fuck Trevor Lawrence. So BTJ is limited by Trevor Lawrence. JT is not limited.
BTJ has 57 fantasy points though this season. That's the thing. Like,
imagine if he was with someone else that can throw.
If he was with Kirk Cousins, obviously Drake London has 85.
Give him Kirk.
So, all right.
Who do I sit? Wandell, Amari, or Worthy?
Wandell Robinson, you do not sit. He's going to be. You do not sit him because no Malik Neighbors tomorrow.
I think it's gonna be Worthy you sit, dude, because he's going against Lattimore. Amari Cooper has games where it's just fucking breakout. I mean, he even gets you $1 million in fucking DFS randomly as anything, and he's going against the Washington backfield, which isn't spectacular.
I'm looking to see what they
don't have no shutdown corners in Washington. Saints have a shutdown corner in Lattimore.
I think that let's see, I need to know if dipshit Watson is getting
Worthy, but Cody wanted somebody to start Worthy a little bit ago, so you're gonna be different opinion there, but I think you sit Worthy.
I think that they have to score. I think that Cleveland has to score because Washington is going to put up points, even with the defense that's supposed to be good. I feel like they're still mediocre at best. I think that Worthy's possibly your one that you sit, but you got to keep Wandell in. Like if he takes 2/3 of what the targets that Malik Neighbors has been getting, and he's been getting 12 targets here and there, I think you got to keep him in. So Worthy's probably the odd man out here, I think. Oh, there's Camilla said, yeah, Harrison for JT. He had Rashee Rice. Poor guy.
Differently.
Dylan, full PPR. What's up, Dylan? Thanks for coming back, dude. Different leagues. Okay, so he's got 2 different ones. Oh, it's two different. It's 2 leagues in one question. So start 1 QB and 2 flex. So Fields or Murray, and then the flex is Akers, Waddle, Wicks, or Jennings.
Murray,
I think you gotta start Murray.
Jennings,
and
Murray,
Akers.
Jennings.
Murray.
I just like
Yeah.
Murray's throwing ability a lot more than Fields, just because he's just shaky. I mean, he may break a couple runs, but I just like Murray's ability to run and throw effectively. Jennings, I mean, uh,
The
I
targets
have
are
to see it
there.
first with Waddle.
Murray's
Waddle,
in a much
That
better
matchup's friendly for
spot.
49ers. I think the matchup's more friendly for 49ers, where you can see a script where potentially Jennings kind of goes off a little bit tomorrow. Whereas I'm not as comfortable about some of the other game scripts. I know we talked a little bit earlier about Akers, and potentially that matchup might be more friendly.
Yeah, Murray's in a great game environment where he's gonna have to score, and he might have to do a lot of stuff on his legs. And at the same time, you run Jennings, it's kind of like a game stack. You got, if Jennings is scoring, then that puts more pressure on Murray to score. And then I think it's out of the other ones, I think it's Akers.
Wicks had 13 targets last week, but that's again like we talked about when we were in that game. It was because they were behind.
Yep.
And there's really no true number 1 there. I don't care what anybody says. Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks, shit that I saw. Another guy popped up on there today. You got Tucker Kraft cutting into catches and shit here and there. Of course, Wicks has been on my waiver wire pickups, but that Jennings has been as well. So I think you got to go Murray, Akers, and Jennings probably. And then
I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna take Wicks, Jennings, and Murray. It's the script, dude, and Akers.
actually, Akers, yeah, you could go Wicks and Jennings and Murray. I think Akers, it's because Akers don't get catches. So yes, I think that you need catches and targets. So if they do Packers do get behind for some reason, they're going to go to Wicks and he's going to be gimmicky and shit like that too. So fade Waddle until Tua comes back or they get a quarterback that's worth the shit. I don't want no Snoop, what's his name? Huntley. That dude, he ain't shit. Like, I don't even know how he got into the Pro Bowl that time. Oh, wait, because he got on it because someone else didn't go. The start 3, Downs, Ayuk, Scary Terry, Sutton, or Wicks.
Fuck, you got Wicks again. Start 3, Downs, Ayuk.
And Scary Terry.
Yeah.
But
Terry,
again, I told you that I might fade Ayuk this week, and this would be the week I'm going to fade him.
I still think you gotta
Downs.
go in season long. I don't think you can fade him in season long. Not with that lineup.
Not in season long. You got to run him out, see what happens in season.
Start
Yeah.
2. Wilson.
I think your third one there could be any one of them, to be honest. Scary Terry, Sutton, or Wicks.
I like Terry. I mean, I like Scary Terry because he's number 1, and Jaden Daniels has already started too. I'm running that myself.
Explode.
And he's finding him. He's looking for him. Like even if blanket coverage tomorrow, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm afraid against Cleveland." I just still feel like that he's going to get targets. So I'm going Scary Terry, Downs, Ayuk.
Then your next one, you got the same thing. Is that with the quarterbacks at the end, Daniels or Fields? If it's
Daniels, you got to start.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
Daniels, you got to start. And then you're starting to Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I would pair him too. So
pair him with
Wilson's
Scary Terry.
due. G. Wilson's due. He's due, man. It's just too many games have gone by. Him and Rodgers gotta find it.
It's in London, and that game's gonna play weird as shit. I'm telling you, this is gonna be the game where Minnesota goes down because it always seems to be teams that go to London and they just fuck off, and somehow it's the team that shouldn't win is gonna be the team that wins. So I think Garrett Wilson does get in the end zone tomorrow. I like Scary Terry and Garrett Wilson here, and then Daniels.
Give me Downs and Scary Terry with Daniels.
Camilo, yes, you can. You should send Taylor to get Marvin Harrison. Yes.
Book it.
At worst. And then Dylan says he was thinking Jennings, no doubt, no Dobbs or Watson. Yeah, I mean yeah. It's kind of leaning. He says also kind of leaning Fields over Murray. Slightly better matchup against Cowboys defense. Niners defense scares me more, especially with Parsons out for Dallas. I mean, I'm running. I got to run Fields in a half PPR, but I think that we kind of talked about the game though. The game just lends itself. It's still, even though they don't have Michael Parsons, they still have Trayvon Diggs, and they still have a halfway decent DeMarcus Lawrence. Eric Kendricks is there. Mike Zimmer can get in. He's played against Justin Fields before his time in Minnesota. I don't know, man. Like I'm still, I like Kyler Murray better than Justin Fields.
For Kyler Murray, he's in a game environment.
And the game could be slow. The game could be slow too. Okay, so oh shit. Yeah, thanks. Here we go. War Eagle, what's up? War Eagle, Kincaid or Bowers, JSN or BTJ, and Vikings or Packers defense.
Well, I need to know more.
Well,
Brian Thomas Jr. If this is PPR.
Bowers
Vikings
had a good game. I think it was 2 weeks ago where he was in a lot of this game script, and then all of a sudden the following week they kind of schemed him out. I do like Kincaid tomorrow in that matchup against Texans, but I mean,
the
thing is here,
got a number one tight.
Bowers probably just as he may end up getting more than this script, just because they probably are going to be down.
And the defense.
I like Brian Thomas Jr. heavy. That's a kill athletic stardom for me, Brian Thomas Jr.
And JSN has been that guy before, but JSN is not going to get 12 targets this week because the Seattle Seahawks are not going to be behind the Giants. They're not. They're not. It's going to be, I'm feeding the shit out of the ball to Kenneth Walker, and he's cutting into everything. I'm
going Brock Bowers.
I like Bowers and BTJ. And then
Creed is going against the number one defense against tight ends, for what that's worth.
And
Packers
I think
split with, don't they be
in the over under of
they split with Dawson Knox. I don't like them splitting with Dawson Knox.
And then Vikings or
I like
Packers
Vikings defense. Flores got him playing, man. Flores got him playing.
Yeah, and they're shutting again. They're putting guys in boxes. They're another team that's putting running backs on a poster. So they're either gonna get their ass blowed out or they're gonna just put the Jets totally to sleep. So I'm like the Vikings defense here.
Yeah, Fields or Burrow. That's tough. Burrow's played like shit.
I think Fields has got to be that because he's got the run threat here. If at this point, but Brad, like you can say this if it was on you because you have Burrow. So I picked up Fields and happy
between Burrow and Fields. I think I'm still running out Burrow and kind of praying, please, Lord, give me 3 touchdown passes tomorrow. But I mean, it's definitely an interesting thought because just like you said, Fields can have those games, man, where he'll just go off out of the blue. It might not all be passing yards, but he could potentially get you 100 rushing yards, which may make the difference. Whereas, Burrow may, the ceiling may not be as high. But who's Pittsburgh playing tomorrow?
They're playing Dallas tomorrow night.
Night game, though. It's prime time, man. This is where they advertise backup. This is why I'm too keen on somebody like Fields.
98. Well, Joe Burrow has 98 yards, 1,879 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in 7 games. So, hey, Fields. I mean, Burrow's is not. If I'm hoping that you had somebody else that you could say that I'm pairing him with, but Burrow. Burrow always plays better when it's a good quarterback and when it's a running quarterback. So we just saw that with Jaden Daniels. So he's had great games against Baltimore. I mean, he's had over 200 yards. He's had 500 yards against them in a game. He had in his first game 183, his second one 416. He had 525 against them. And then he hasn't gone back. He's gone to 217, 215, 222, and then 101. So I think Burrow, you that game's 49 points. So you could play Burrow and just rest easy that he's a number one, and we expected him to be a number one, and he can put 300 yards on the board easy. So
I agree. Next one, I'm still confident in Murray if McBride is out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I still think that he's fine. I mean,
the targets are going to Michael Wilson anyway. They're not.
Yeah.
Going.
They're not change.
Going anywhere else. So.
Dump offs, like I still feel like, but what we talked about is Fred Warner is banged up a little bit. So somebody that's tracking Kyler Murray down is going to be banged up, and of course. Yes, I know that they've got Nick Bosa, but you can always run away from him, and Kyler Murray has the wheels to be able to do that. So Jacob says, I just traded Xavier Worthy for Jaden Reed. How did I do? I mean, I feel like you kind of broke even to me, to be honest. You traded.
I think that the explosiveness of Xavier Worthy down the stretch could lead to some boom games. A little bit more than Jaden Reed. That's so. I guess
if the Chiefs become the Chiefs and they do what they need to do and they finally just commit fully to him, I feel like that's it. I don't feel like the Packers are ever going to fully commit to Jaden Reed as their number one. Like as Phil's told us a million times before, Christian Watson when he's there could be the number one. Romeo Doubs when he's not suspended could be the number one. I just don't feel like they have a number one. And if the Chiefs ever embrace that, now that Rashee Rice is gone, they're going to have a number one. So I think that's where you got to go. I feel like you kind of hurt yourself unless you have Jordan Love, and then there's that. So
I think that's it.
That's all the questions. But for the people that are still hanging out with us, I'm gonna do a giveaway. Okay. So you guys got to be in the chat, and you have to answer the question in the chat. Okay. And this is gonna go back a few weeks. Who is the guy that we said to get the damn ball to? So the first guy, that first person who answers that question wins the giveaway. Because that means you've been watching us for a couple weeks now. 3 weeks at least. So
hint, the person went to the Ohio State University.
Oh shit, Brad, you just gave it away.
A good clue.
Easy.
I don't think so.
Get them the damn ball.
Put
You can go. Hey, I'll give you an even better one. If you're on YouTube or on TikTok, anything, there is a video that says it. We have a short video that's on social media right now. You go jump up to one of the platforms and you can find it. It's probably one of the top videos. The first person that answers it gets the prize. Some Ballers and Briefs merch and another gift. So
Anything?
well, the clock. I don't know if people's wheels are turning or not. Or they just, or they're just people in the chat now saying.
Give it a minute and then ask another question if they don't know it.
Anything?
Okay. Nobody knows. All right. Well, the answer to the
So we hold
question.
it for next.
Well, I'll ask one more. The answer to that question was Marvin Harrison Jr., by the way.
Hey, he wasn't getting the ball.
Trying to give a good hint.
Yeah, I thought it was, and I even told him it was I even said it, we had a video about it. Okay. All right. Here's another one. This should be a softball. Who's the guy that Phil said he'd never play ever again in fantasy football?
There you go.
There you go. That's a softball. That's just shit.
I
put the ball on the tee for you. Like literally right
every
here.
Podcast. I've said it in
Who's
this
the
podcast.
guy that Brad said?
Phil. That I will never play
Phil
again.
Phil said, my bad. Phil said.
And I said it in this podcast. I say it every podcast.
Yes.
As I think he's trash.
Every time.
And I'll give y'all a super clue. The player is a quarterback.
Well, we'll answer Big Body's question real quick while someone is asking that.
Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs. For tomorrow.
Pick two.
Same. Henry. And
I think Kamara's still nursing the rib injury. Tatum's taking some of the work from. I called it earlier. I like Josh Jacobs tomorrow for some reason. So. Damn, no way y'all don't know who I'm never playing against in fantasy football ever again because he never performed.
Might have to save it for next week.
Y'all just gotta type in the chat. It's not Anthony Richardson. Y'all can just fire.
Just start firing off stuff like it's a quarterback.
It's a quarterback.
That's me. I said I may not start Anthony Richardson ever again, but I'll give you even a big body. I'll even give you a better one. He's in the same division. There, I'll just give you I'll basically give you the answer. Oh, big body. He's in the same division as Anthony Richardson. Augusto says my running backs are Hall, Kamara, Ford, Dobbins, Hunt, Chubb. My receivers are London, Neighbors, Godwin, Pittman, and my tight end is Bowers. Who would you give up for Connors? I'm packaging. Oh no, big body. Oh my God, you want to answer? You going to add all the questions, add all the quarterbacks? All right, I'm gonna give it an answer, but we'll ask one more question.
Keep going, big body.
That question. Are we answering? The answer to that question is Trevor Lawrence.
So
I will never play that trash ass quarterback ever again because he is trash. He overthrows everybody. He underthrows everybody. He has zero awareness when he's in the pocket. I will never play him in fantasy football ever again. And we mentioned that in this podcast when we talked about Indy and the Jags, the first game we talked about.
If you could flip Pittman for Connors, that would be dope. But maybe that could also be skyrocketing from potential. But if you could package Ford and Dobbins for Connors, that might be good because you've got Chubb as the handcuff.
If Carolina gets rid of DJ, he's useless. And right now he's still there, so you might get somebody to trade you that.
Yeah.
All right, new question for the giveaway.
Phil, you got one? Brad, y'all got a question? Something that's Ballers and Brees related.
What is my favorite NFL team?
Okay, that's it. This is another softball. If you watch this, you'll know this. Big body, if you're still there, this is an easy one.
Somebody come get this free gift.
Get the free gift.
I also mentioned this answer during this podcast.
Come get the gift.
When answering questions, I think.
Huh?
When we were answering questions too, I said that I was biased because this was my favorite team.
Yeah. If we
Damn,
can't get it on this one.
What is my
What is,
favorite?
what is
NFL
Phil's favorite team? Shit, I can't even point. Woo.
This guy. Super easy question.
It's in it. I'll give you the conference. It's in NFC.
And there's a lot of people watching. Y'all could just say NFL
Anybody.
teams.
There's 32 of them.
32 NFL teams. Just say one. You might hit it even if you don't know.
While we're waiting, who would you start? Wicks or JSN? Oh,
Wicks.
no, big body. That's not it.
Not the Niners.
Not the Niners. But color scheme's kind of close.
Wicks or JSN?
Give you 3 guesses.
With one of the receivers out for Green Bay, I would say Wicks over.
I think you probably have to go there because I think you have to go Wicks here because I feel like that game's going to be closer, and I feel like that with no neighbors and no Devin Singletary, that the Giants are just going to be kind of slaw tomorrow. And all right, guys. Well, I guess nobody really wants the gift. Oh, that's even nope, not the Commanders. Oh, you got one more guess.
One more guess.
Think in the lower half of the United States.
Right.
It's in the NFC in the lower half of the United States.
Nothing today. Crickets.
I know it's like I know there's a little bit of delay, so I know it's kind of hard, like sometimes for the questions to get to people.
Oh, he's even closer now.
Closer. Oh my God! All right. We said we get it's in the same division. Just go in the same division, and then I will give you the prize.
Same division.
Same division, and they have a cool ass like slogan. Their slogan is cool, and the place that they're in is cool.
I said their slogan during this podcast too.
There's another team that copies their slogan in a way. The
Stop
Bengals
following the red color. It's not the red color.
Yeah. The Bengals copy this team's slogan.
Because I know Cody said earlier colors were close. It's not the red that's close.
Yeah.
Come on. Tough trivia night.
I know. I'm feeling I put it out there. There you go. Big body, just because you stay with us, bro.
I appreciate
it. Who that?
There you go. So you get
the house.
Ballism Briefs koozie, sticker pack, and a collectible Little People, NFL Little People. So if you would, please, sir,
appreciate it.
Please follow us on all of the socials and drop it in the DM somewhere. How to get you your prize. That way we can get you your prize. And I'll put the links to all the socials in here. The easiest one is probably X or Facebook, whichever one. Or you can send it to me on Twitch too. It's fine. We'll figure it out. But let us know. And appreciate you guys for real hanging out with us. Big Body, thanks for just slamming out answers to the questions.
Participation.
And the love and the views.
George says you need a new mic, Phil.
For some reason, my AirPods wouldn't connect. I don't know why. So yeah, I'm using some weird ass Bluetooth speaker. So
Potato mic. But anyways, guys, we appreciate y'all hanging out, and we will see you
Yes.
guys on Wednesday. Look out for the waiver wires on Tuesday. So we will see y'all then. Peace
Peace.
out.
Good luck. Yes.